Hey everybody, Matthew here from MiniWarGaming.com, and I want to talk about an idea that I had. We've already kind of mentioned it a couple of times, the idea of doing role-playing games on the MiniWarGaming channel. I know we've had requests for it in the past, and it's always been something I've avoided, simply because, well, first off, our time has always been taken up doing all the battle reports and narrative campaigns and things that we're doing just to stay on the schedule that we have, and also because I wasn't sure how successful it could be. But both of those are no longer issues, because now we have more employees. We're finding that we have excess time to do other things as well, but not a ton of excess time, but just time that we can actually start looking at the other things. So if we start a new project like this, it won't eat into current things that we're trying to get done as well. And the second thing is, I think that lots of different YouTube channels have proven that people do want to see role-playing games played on video. And so that's been encouraging as well. But anyway, so I've mentioned the idea of this whole Warhammer 40k role-playing game that we would do called like the roommates, where I take like 5 of our content producers, or maybe some guests, probably more content producers because of the scheduling, and they each play a nobody in the 40k universe who all happen to be roommates or like hab mates, so they're all on the same level. And some bad thing happens in the world that they're doing, like either a Tyranid invasion or a chaos uprising, something bad. And it's just the story of them trying to escape or survive or whatever it is that they're trying to do. And it would be like a dark comedy kind of thing where bad things happen to them. There'd probably be a relatively high mortality rate, and they keep making new characters. And but those who manage to survive would upgrade and maybe eventually become really good as well. So I see that there's a lot of potential for having a good time, lots of comedy, but at the same time, some really good role-playing encounters. I have a decent amount of experience games mastering. I did it a lot when I was a kid, growing up a lot of in my teenage years, and then into my young adult years. I ran D&D campaigns, ran homebrew campaigns, ran mech warrior campaigns, fighting fantasy, and all sorts of different things. And so I'm really excited for this idea. But let's get to the idea behind the idea. The big question is, how do we make money from this so that we can cover our costs? Because it's actually quite expensive to do. I think I ran the numbers. Well, I know I ran the numbers. And I worked out each episode to cost anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000 Canadian to produce, when you account for the wages of the time that it takes to film it, the post-production, and my time as well spent prepping for it. Because unlike a narrative campaigns take a lot of time, but this will take way more time. Because a narrative campaign, I just have to come up with a loose structure to it, and then the battle report kind of dictates it. If you've ever done a role-playing game, you know the games master has to spend a lot of time on it. I'm still not settled on what system it would be. At first I was like, I just want to make a homebrewed system that's really, really simple, and that would focus more on the role-playing aspect, and then we would do a battle report, like a Necromunda rule set, because Necromunda rule set's supposed to come out in November, so it's good timing. We could use the Necromunda rules when we hit combat, and then just my simple homebrewed system for all the role-playing encounters. But then we do have the Dark Heresy 2nd edition books as well, and so I've been considering maybe using that system. And so the main question is funding, of course, and the idea that we have is to run an Indiegogo campaign, which is just another platform like Kickstarter. And we would run that throughout probably the month of November. So starting in the next couple of weeks, because I want to start filming this late November, early December. So it wouldn't be like your typical Kickstarter where you put money into it and then you wait 8 months for it. No, we're talking like having stuff to show within a few weeks afterwards. And I was thinking that those who contributed to the Indiegogo campaign, at minimum certain level, would actually be able to screen it as it comes out. And then everybody else who didn't contribute would just get it afterwards, once it's all done, so probably a few months later or 2 or 3 months later. And the people in the Indiegogo campaign, if they pledged a minimum amount, would be able to watch it and give ideas for the next one, and there would be like higher pledge levels so that you could actually create NPCs or have more of a say in like the different encounters, all under my discretion, of course, because I don't want my hands tied if I get ideas that I don't want to do. But anyway, I want to run this by you. I know I'm already at almost 5 minutes into the video, so hopefully you're still watching at this point. But I want your feedback. I want your feedback on a few things. One is how interested you'd be in me doing this role-playing game first. Forget the Indiegogo campaign. Second, if you like the idea of the Indiegogo campaign And if you would contribute, let's say a minimum of $20 US, because that would probably be the minimum pledge level to get access to the thing before everybody else. And then 3, any ideas that you have either for the actual role-playing game, like what system we should use, or any ideas for what would be really cool if we did the Indiegogo campaign, the pledge levels, and what you'd want to see, what you'd want to contribute, things like that as well. And I think it'll be a blast. I think it'll probably be one of the best shows that we produce, just because of the chemistry of all the content producers would really, really speak out. So leave your feedback below or above, depending where you're watching this. And I'd love to hear it. I'm going to read all the comments, and I'll try to respond to some too. But I want to kind of get on this as soon as possible, so let me know what you think. Happy wargaming.